Recently, this clip went absolutely viral on the internet where dealership employees were sharing their insane car payments. We're gonna watch it in just a couple of seconds, but it's a perfect depiction of why the car market absolutely sucks right now and how so many people are in such a horrible position with their car payments. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how not to end up like these guys, especially if you're a Turo host, how not to have absurd car payments, and exactly what you can do to get cars that are at least 15% off of MSRP at a 0% interest rate. If it sounds too good to be true, I'm here to tell you it's not, and I'm going to show you exactly where you can find these deals and what cars are discounted. So let's check out this clip, blow our minds a little bit, and then we'll get into how we can be smarter and better than that.
Hey sir, what is your car payment?
Mine is $1,325.
And what kind of vehicle is that?
It's a 22 Ford Raptor.
Okay. You have another payment?
I do actually. My wife's, hers is $1,000. It's a 22 Ford Expedition.
Perfect. Hey ma'am, what is your car payment?
$1,386.
And what kind of car requires a $1,386 payment?
A 2022 Grand Wagoneer Series 3.
Perfect. Hey sir, what is your car payment?
I got a couple of them, but the first one's $1,445.
What kind of car is that?
That's a new GMC Sierra 2500 Denali.
What's the other one?
It's a wide body CTSV. That's $1,161.
Nice payment. Hey sir, what is your car payment?
Bro, what's your car payment? And what kind of car are you driving?
You know, honestly, I was about to make my car payment. I'll even show you. It's kind of funny, everybody's talking about high payments. Look at that number right there. That's my car payment.
Dang!
2021 wide body Hellcat Charger.
Now, every time I watch that clip, it absolutely blows my mind to see people who are stuck with such high car payments. And that is a product of the environment that we've been in with crazy high interest rates and dealers charging above MSRP and having $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 markups on these cars because of the supply chain shortages. So especially if you're a Turo host, you do not want to be in a position like that, because cars that are that expensive and have such high monthly payments will not sustain or bring a profit in the Turo marketplace. And just in general, if you're looking to buy a car, you don't want to land in a position to where your cars are depreciating like crazy and they are not worth what you are paying. So we're going to go over exactly what's happened in the market and what you can do to get killer deals on cars at really low interest rates and really keep those payments low where they should be so that they are affordable. Now, one of the first things I like to do, I'm going to have you guys tune in with me, is go to my favorite chart and graph that's ever existed on the internet, which is Car Guru's price trend graph. And if you've been on my channel before, you know I talk about this a lot, but this is the best graph to help you understand what has happened in the car market that's driving these crazy high prices, and we're going to cover it real fast. So for here, I have my chart set from 2019 to 2023, present day, and we have all the data of what's happened to car prices. And as you can see, as we went into 2021 and beyond, car prices just took a huge uptick in pricing. They soared, and they are just so super high now, right? And in many cases, if we look at just Ford, for example, some of these car prices have gone up by 50%. So back in 2019, the average cost of a Ford was right around $20,000. And, you know, in 2022, they went up by 54%. And today, the average cost of a Ford still sits at 51% higher than what it was in 2019, over a $10,000 price increase in just a couple years. Imagine if you had to pay $10,000 more for a Ford. It's very painful, and that's what drives these car payments up. So we can see that just by selecting a few of the manufacturers here, how prices have really really increased in the last couple years. Now, when you couple that with a crazy rise in interest rates, that is just gonna send your car payments through the roof. So I love this graph right here by Edmunds.com. And what they do is they track the average interest rate by state for both used and new cars. And you can just see here from the map, I mean, we are just seeing numbers all across the board, anywhere from 12.5%. Texas is looking at 11.89%, California at 10%. I mean, these are astronomically high. Now, in 2019, 2020, we were looking at interest rates close to 1%, which is absolutely insane. We've seen almost a 10x increase in the price, the cost of a car loan, which is absolutely crazy. Now, one of the things that I love to look at is they break it down in sort of this chart right here. This is going to show us today's average APR on a used vehicle and a new vehicle. So as of the month of June, the average APR on a used vehicle was 11%. That's the average across the country. And then for a new vehicle, it's 7.2%, which is still very, very high. And again, that can drive up your car payments sometimes by $60, $100, $150, just depending on the size of your loan. And I'm going to demonstrate that in just a second and exactly what you can do to avoid that. Now, going back to our friends that we saw in that viral clip, I love that Edmunds has this chart as well, which is where are people paying over $1,000 per month to finance their new cars. And you can see in different parts of the country, especially places like Texas, we are seeing over 25.2% of people paying over $1,000 per month. Now, the average car payment back in 2019 was somewhere around $500. So you can just see how so many people's car payments, their expense, cost of ownership on a vehicle has gone dramatically up. Now, in my home state of California, 19% of people are paying over $1,000. I mean, it is just absolutely insane how many people have taken on so much debt burden and high car payments when it comes to the vehicles that they have purchased. So one of the things that I want to demonstrate, because oftentimes people don't understand how a high interest rate can really impact the cost of your vehicle and what your monthly payments looks like. So I just wanted to show you guys really quick. We're going to look at a car loan calculator. I'm here on calculator.net, and I always use this to get an idea of what my car payments are going to look like and how an interest rate affects this. So earlier I put an example where we're purchasing a $40,000 car at an average term of 60 months, which is very normal, with today's interest rate on a used vehicle standing at about 10%, right? In other places we've seen it's much higher than 10%. So with a little bit of an average down payment, I actually took these numbers off of Tesla's website, because when you go through their loans and their financing, these are kind of the numbers that they use for down payments and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going off of. And based on that, we can see at a 10% interest rate, your payment is $690. Now, if we take this back to, pre craziness in the environment and where the interest rate was about 3.5%, we can see that that is almost exactly $100 difference. The payment just went from $690 down to $591. So you would be saving $1,200 a year if the environment was normal, if the market was normal, if car prices weren't so high, and if inflation wasn't high that's been driving up these interest rates. So that's where you can see where it really makes a difference. And then one of the things that I love to look at is that the total loan interest. So how much is this loan going to cost you? Well, at a 3.5% interest rate, a $40,000 loan is going to end up costing you about $2,970 over the life of the loan. Now, if we toggle that back up to 10%, well, that's going to cost you $8,931. That is a massive difference. That's over $6,000 that you're going to be paying just because you're paying a higher interest rate. That's where a lot of people don't realize how much more they are paying when interest rates are high. So how do we avoid all of this, right? How do we, when we're in need of a car right now, if you're a Turo host and you're like, I want to buy cars, I want to place them in my market, but I don't want to pay absurd car payments. payments where my vehicle is potentially not going to turn a profit, what do we do? So there are, in my opinion, three kind of primary things that you can do. Now, firstly, what you can do is if you are looking for electric vehicles, you can take advantage of the new EV tax credits that have come out this year. So you can actually find this on the IRS's website. And if you're going through a website like Tesla, they're going to advertise it there as well. So this is one way to offset some of that cost based on, just the market that we're in. So if you go to the IRS website, they're going to break it down for you exactly as it is. For new cars, they can tend to qualify for a $7,500 tax credit. Now, it is going to be based on income, and it's going to be based on the total cost of the car. That's going to determine, how much of a discount you can get. But again, if you go to Tesla's website, I'm actually going to show you guys right here. Let's go ahead and look at some of their inventory. And let's see what type of tax credits they show us. You're going to see they are going to, let's see here, vehicles. Let's look at their inventory. They're actually going to tell you exactly what qualifies for the tax credit. So we are looking at a Model 3, $7,500 tax credit. And this is where I think Tesla has done such a good job. On a Model 3, your price cap is $55,000. So that tax credit will apply to any car that is $55,000 or below for a Model 3, and for a Model Y, that's going to be $80,000. And then they're also going to give you the income limitations, which is where a lot of people kind of get confused. But basically, these are the income requirements that you have to meet in order to get that tax credit. Now, the nice thing is, another thing that just went into effect is an EV tax credit on used vehicles. So the government put out that you can have a $4,000 tax credit on a used EV that is $25,000 or less. And again, they do have some income limitations, which you can see right here. And again, I'm going to put these links down in the description. But that is an excellent way where you can get a $25,000 car, and hopefully you can max out that $4,000 tax credit. Now that's going to bring the cost of ownership down to $21,000. So you're immediately getting a nice discount off that vehicle if you are going the EV route. Now, another thing that you can do is you can really look for incentives through manufacturers and brands that have excess inventory. Now, Ford lately has really been in the news, and they've been marketing, and they have been pushing 0% APR financing. So I'm on one of the Ford dealerships websites here in Southern California, and you can see they have options, right? Because right now they have an excess. They have a lot of supply of their Ford F-150, their Lightning trucks, and they're offering some very competitive rates. Now, 0% APR financing for 36 months. Now, on their Ford Lightning, they have 1.9% APR financing for 36 months. While it might only be 36 months, that's still a very good deal. And hopefully, once you get through the 36 months, things will change in the environment, and you can always refinance your vehicle through a credit union for lower interest rates. But the whole point being that if you really explore your options online and you kind of pay attention to what's happening, which manufacturers have the most inventory, you can really find some great deals to be had and not fall into the same trap that we saw earlier in this video, the people at the dealership going through. Now, one of the things that I absolutely love to do is go to a website called realcartips.com, which is ran by a friend of mine named Greg, and he compiles all this data that he gets access to give us information about what are some of the best deals that exist out there and how you can actually get cars for 15% off of MSRP. So right now, this is some data that he just published the other day. We can see here that there are actually cars like the Alfa Romeo, for example, which is 15.6% off of MSRP. So that's a huge discount in this environment, and the list continues on. I mean, we're seeing cars that are 14% off, 10% off, and there's a lot of EVs in here as well. So if you happen to be in the market for an EV where you're getting a significant percentage off of MSRP, plus you're able to maximize on the tax credit as well, well, then you are winning. And as we know, as Turo hosts, being anywhere from that 15 to 25% off of MSRP, that's really kind of like the golden sweet spot that you want to be in, to where you can list your cars on the platform. They can accrue a lot of depreciation, but you can still really turn a profit. So that's how you get really smart and resourceful, by really doing your research, finding great resources like this to really hone in on a car that's not only a great deal, that you're getting great financing for, and if you're a host, you can actually list it on the platform. So if you want to learn more about how you can buy cars to maximize your profits, you can check out my website, powerhost.club. I have an entire training program where I will run you through this, as well as a free car buying guide, so that you can actually maximize your profits. Okay, so before you embark on this journey of going through one of those lenders to get yourself an auto loan with bad credit, you want to set yourself up for success as much as possible, right? We're turning a new leaf. We're going to do things to help build up our credit profile and put ourselves in a better position. So even if that means in the short term, you're going to get a car that's financed at a very high interest rate, hopefully in the future, within 6-8 months to a year, you can have those consistent payments and then refinance that car loan at a much lower interest rate, helping to bring that payment down. So here are a few things that you want to do prior to going in to purchase that vehicle. And we're going to start off with your Credit Karma profile, right? So go online, make that profile, creditkarma.com, link's going to be down in the description below, and figure out what your FICO score is and get an idea of where you land. Then after that, we're going to focus on your sources of income. So when you go and apply for an auto loan, they're not just looking at your credit score, right? They're going to look at your income source. How much money do you have coming in? So you want to make sure you have a stable job, you have a stable paycheck, you have stable income that you can actually show them, hey, here are my deposits, or here's my W-2, here are my pay stubs, so that they get an idea. So maybe you have bad credit score, but you got a great job, you're making great money now, and that's going to really help push the lender in your favor and give you a better interest rate. The next thing is they're going to look at your debt to income ratio. So how much debt do you have in comparison to your income, right? And they want to make sure that you're in a balanced position to where if they give you an auto loan, that you're not overextended on the amount of debt that you have, and based on your income, that you have the ability to afford to make that car payment. So they're going to look at all of that. So one of the things that you can do to improve your debt to income ratio is, before you go in for that car loan, make sure that you have paid off any outstanding credit card balances, any outstanding credit lines that maybe have just been sort of hanging around. If you can get rid of all of that and kind of show that, hey, I don't really carry that much debt, I have plenty of income to cover my payments, the lender is going to feel more confident about extending an auto loan to you, and then again, helping to bring that interest payment down. Now, the other thing that they're going to look at again is that credit utilization. So let's just say you have a credit card, right? It has a $10,000 limit, and you currently have a $5,000 balance on it. Well, a lender is going to look at that, and then they're going to say, hey, you have 50% utilization. Now, the industry standard, kind of what they think is acceptable, is about 30% utilization. So if you have a balance of $3,000 or below, that's going to give you better terms, and it's going to be more in your favor in terms of interest rate and how much they will lend to you. And of course, I think the best thing that you can do is try to get that down to zero if you can, because again, it's going to make that debt to income ratio look really great, and it's going to make the lender feel confident, hey, that this is a credit-worthy person, they have the income to afford this payment, they don't have any other debt that they're paying, and they will be able to handle this consistently and on time, which brings us to the final point, which is on-time payment history. Now, credit profiles are like a report card, right? So remember back in grade school, you have your report card, you take it home, your parents take a look at it, and it gives them sort of a summary of how the year went and how you performed. Well, credit history is kind of the same exact way. So when a lender pulls your credit, they're going to see all your years of history, and they can literally see everything. They're going to see all the credit cards you have, any previous auto loans, mortgages, anything that lives on your credit. And they're going to see, okay, how often did this person make their payments on time? How often did they pay off their balances? How much debt are they carrying? What is their credit utilization? So one of the things that you can really do to improve your credit credit history is make consistent on-time payments is really, really important. Now, sometimes if you are making your payments, your credit card payments and things like that manually, you can easily just make human error and sort of forget, oh shoot, my payment was due. So the best thing you can do is turn on auto pay on your credit cards just to make sure that those payments are being made on time. And that is going to help improve your credit history. And finally, if you can sort of take all of these things, right, and give yourself just a little bit of time, and hopefully you have the time where you can sit down and say, hey, okay, I'm going to take 6 months and I'm going to focus on bringing my credit card utilization down. So maybe stop spending and start paying into them more and paying them down, making on-time payments, really increasing income that you have coming in. Maybe you can work overtime. Maybe you can take on some side hustles to bring in that additional income. And if you can sort of do all of these things, it's going to lift up your credit score. And that way, when you go to apply for an auto loan, it's going to make you look like you have a strong profile. You're somebody who's trying, you're making effort, and you are credit worthy for one of these lenders to lend to you. And then honestly, all you have to do is give it a bit of time. Once you get that auto loan, make those payments on time, build up that credit score. And as you do that, you will find sort of a newfound appreciation for your credit profile and your credit score. And it'll give you more confidence in that, okay, you have the ability to be financially savvy and responsible, and you're educated now, and everyone makes these mistakes, but you can move on putting your best foot forward, and you'll never find yourself in this position again. So these are all sort of the tips that you can utilize to find yourself in a better credit position and getting the best possible car loan that you can if you find yourself in a hard spot. And if you want to understand a little bit more about how not to fall into the trap of buy here, pay here dealerships, because sometimes people fall into these traps without really knowing what these dealerships are and how predatory they can be, check out this video that I just made recently, walking you right through it. Thanks, guys.